So today, we're finally taking a look at the 7th Acoustics Supernova, a 6 all-balanced armature setup from a company called 7 Acoustics. 6-7. Kidding aside, this IM was loaned to me by the 7th Acoustics Tour Group, so I am thankful for the opportunity to review this IM. This will be my first IM with an all-balanced armature setup, so I'm very curious to try this out. First, starting with the unboxing experience, you get the Supernova itself, final audio ear tips, a cleaning cloth, warranty information, and a aluminum carrying case. The included cable feels very premium. Mine's came with a 4.4 balanced termination, and honestly the cable looks and feels fantastic in hand. It's soft, lightweight, and complements the color green faceplate of the IEM. So moving on to the design and build quality, the Supernova looks really gorgeous. The faceplate design has this green cosmic-like aesthetic that immediately stands out without looking too flashy. Build quality overall feels extremely solid and well made while being very lightweight. In terms of comfort, the fit is pretty good for me. The shell sits securely inside the ears, and once worn properly, they almost disappear during listening sessions. But the IMs protrude out of my ears because they are really thick, but it doesn't contribute to any discomfort while wearing them. Isolation is good with the final ear tips and fit is excellent. But now let's move on to the most important part, which is the sound. And this is where the Supernova surprised me, since it's different from what I thought an all BA might sound, where it is usually described as metallic and have that notorious BA timbre. Instead, it sounds natural while retaining the analytical side of a balanced armature. The overall tuning of the Supernova is balanced, clean, and natural sounding. I wouldn't really call it neutral because it has a fun musicality to it. But at the same time, it doesn't sound colored or exaggerated either. It sounds pretty accurate. Everything sounds controlled and properly placed. Nothing sounds overly boosted nor recessed. Just a very refined and mature presentation. So starting with the bass, this is probably the most divisive part of the Supernova. The bass is tight, clean, and detailed, but definitely not a bass head type of tuning. Since this uses all balanced armature drivers, you are missing that dynamic driver physical slam and rumble. The sub-bass has a hint of presence, while the mid-bass has a tight and fun response. But the focus here is clearly about control and precision, rather than impact. Personally, I think the bass quality itself is very good technically, but listeners who mainly enjoy EDM, hip-hop, or bass-heavy focused genres may want more physicality and overall weight. However, the advantage of this kind of bass presentation is that it never muddies the rest of the frequencies. Everything remains clean and organized even during busy track. And this is where the supernova and this is why the Supernova shines in the mid-range, because the mids on this IM is incredible. Vocals sound natural, rich, and very organic. There's this sense of space around the vocals that makes singers separated from the instruments in a realistic way. Female vocals sound smooth and velvety, while male vocals have excellent texture and body weight. Instruments also sound extremely lifelike here. Guitars, pianos, strings, and acoustic instruments all sound properly textured without being overly analytical or dry. This results in an IM with good sibilance control and reproduction where it only comes up in notoriously sibilant songs, which makes it accurate to most songs I listen to. And this is one of those IMs where the mids immediately become the center of attention. The Supernova just presents vocals in a very natural and believable way. So moving on to the treble, the Supernova extends pretty well for an all-BA setup. It retrieves a lot of detail, but it does in a smooth and controlled manner. Treble never really becomes piercing or harsh. I think the tuning here is very well done because it prioritizes smoothness without sacrificing detail. And speaking of detail, the technical performance of the Supernova is very impressive. Detail retrieval is excellent. It brings forward subtle nuances in tracks without being overly analytical. One thing I noticed is how easy it is to follow instruments and small detail directions within the music. Guitar chords, drums, and vocals are very easy to pick apart. So after spending some time with this set, the 7 Acoustic Supernova is a very impressive all-balanced armature IM that focuses heavily on a natural tonality and a clean and tight bass. The bass may not satisfy bass heads, but the clean presentation allows the mids and the technicalities to shine beautifully. Vocals sound fantastic, instruments sound organic, and the overall presentation feels refined. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.